Zed still.
Yeah.
At this point.
Right. Because if he got the wizard because he was named the true seeker, then he knows who the first wizard is, the old wizard.
Yeah.
Because that's the only person who could have done it.
Right.
And if he's legit, then he knows where Zed is.
Yeah.
Them not knowing who or where Zed is. Obviously not where. They don't know Zed is the first wizard. Yes.
I follow what you're saying, but I feel like listening to what you said was super convoluted. So, sorry, everybody. I hope you're following along.
That's what happens after 2 drinks.
So, Jenna tells Richard she was chosen because she was relentless. Oh, wait. See, here's the issue, is because I just listened to this chapter, so it's all like right here in my brain. So the notes are just like flowing out of my mouth. So some of these notes that I'm reading, we already just said. Oh. Again, apologies to all of you who are listening live. How are you guys doing? You having a good night? Is it a good Wednesday? Cheers.
Cheers.
I'm going to fix the notes.
So, Denna makes Richard attempt to escape.
Yep, he has to put on a leather collar with a chain attached to a ring, and she puts that on the chair. And he has to try this for an hour, or she's going to put the deal to his neck, which is not super great.
Yeah, better than the ear, but still really fucking painful.
Yeah, it fills his mouth with blood, and he can't really handle it. And eventually, during all this, he kicks the chain over, and it amplifies the pain. So he has to ask her for help, which he was not going to try to do.
Yeah, anytime he moves the chain in any sort of way, it brings him the pain. I like how she was like, get to the door. Go ahead and start. And so his first thought, well, let's walk to the door. I could see him thinking, okay, well, that's fucking easy.
Right. And after he kicked it over, you would think that you'd be like, oh, I got farther. Yay, I've done something. But she tells him that he's going to get 2 hours if he needs help again, which the whole thing seems a little bit silly to me, because I'm like, you're trying to make me try, and every time I try, I mean, I get it. It's supposed to be like, see, you're fucked. But like, your game sucks, lady.
I want to play a fun game instead. I want to do something else. You like podcasts? You want to listen to a podcast? Anyway, that was my attempt at a joke. You're welcome. Yeah, no, it's obviously rigged to lose. He's not going to get out of the room, and she knows that. I think this is her way of, like, physical torture, but it's also mental torture.
Right. She's breaking him. Like, the whole point of this is to break him, and, I mean, I think it makes it pretty clear pretty fast that no matter where your brain is going, like, oh, well, he could do this. Oh, he could do that. He can't. I think that's where you're supposed to get with all this. He can't. He's just fucked.
Yeah, totally fucked. By the end of it, he's convinced that there's no way out. And I mean, you would be. And if there was, he didn't even know that he wanted to find it. He was too scared to even try. He starts thinking about killing himself. And Denna's like, nah, that's not going to work. The magic will prevent it. So you have no way out.
Right. And I mean, he kind of believed her, because at this point he's already going to do anything that she says, and it's only been a day, and she still has weeks with him.
1 day.
And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person that, like, at this point, while I'm reading the book, I'm trying to think of, like, a loophole. Well, could he do this, or could he do, and, like, there's nothing he could be doing.
Yeah, there's like he can't use the sword. She mentioned that you can't use magic against a confessor. A confessor, that's not who she is. You can't use magic against a Mord Sith. So the only advantage Richard would have over this lady would be his size and like his strength. But whenever he even thinks about attacking her with only his muscles, he gets more pain and he can't do it.
Yeah, it's inside. That's the thing. It's not pain from like outside either, which I feel like maybe I guess pain. It doesn't really matter where it's coming from, but it's internal pain that like you can't feel, or no, you can't see.
Yeah, I mean it makes you bleed when they touch you with the Aegil.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the Aegil. I'm talking about the pain from the sword.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like internal pain.
Yeah, I feel like that makes you crazy on like a different level. Like, okay, I struggle with like pretty bad back pain, and like you can't see that. And sometimes like I feel like I should have a giant bruise on my back or something, be like, look how bad it hurts, but you can't see it. And sometimes that can make it worse. Like I feel like that can be worse than having like, I mean, obviously you don't want to open wound, but you know what I mean? Like, at least then you could look at it and be like, yeah, obviously this is why I'm hurting.
This is the thing that hurts. Let's take that out.
Right. So, I don't know. I feel like just having the pain coming from inside is a whole thing of craziness all on its own.
Well, yeah, it's magic pain. And like personally, I think it's also why Sam is the way that he is. He's like, no, mine. And then he hides in like, yeah. Because he wants to be comfortable all the time, and the magic of the sword, if you're a shitty person and killing people you shouldn't be killing, makes you feel the pain, and so this is his way of kind of escaping from that. But he's fucking nuts, so he wants the sword back, even if it's going to bring him pain. It's a very weird, very Nate-brained parallel to
that went a
what
crazy
Dana's doing to
journey
Richard
through
right
some
now.
layers. But eventually she makes him take his shirt off since
Of course.
the blood would make it hard to see a fresh spot. And you know, he doesn't look bad with his shirt off. We've established this.
Well, I mean, you couldn't have a TV show if he didn't take his shirt off.
No. I'm certain that Craig Horner got paid a certain amount to look a certain way when he took his shirt off during this show.
I'll do it.
Richard is a little bit confused as to why he's getting punished again. And she's just, which, I mean, I get it. He's already starting to be like, don't hurt me. But like, dude, you're being tortured. Like, you're going to get hurt again.
Yeah.
Like,
what do we do now? No, you're doing it. This is what we do down here.
Yeah. This is your life now.
As much time as you would be sitting bored in a jail cell, I'm going to be kicking the shit out of you.
Isn't that going to be great?
Yeah, super fun.
Aren't you glad you signed up for this?
Yeah. Weekends and holidays. Oh, boy.
She just tells him, you were caught by Mord Sith. You should have killed me. Okay, this is where she tells him, though, like, the strategy that he should have done. He should have killed all her men and then used his knife to kill her. Or, like, just his hands.
But that was only in the split second before she had him.
Like, he couldn't have raised his sword to her.
Right. But I'm saying now, it doesn't matter if he's not going to use the sword. If he was just like, I'm going to grab a chain and choke her, and he would grab the chain or think about grabbing the chain, it would already like the pain would have him and he would be on his knees.
Oh, yeah.
But in that moment before she captured him, because he used the sword, then he could have, killed the other guards and then used his knife on her.
Yeah.
Now that won't work.
Or actually, he could have, like, legitly choked her out. Because, like you said earlier, he is a bigger, stronger man. Like, without her Aegil or him having the magic, she's really nothing compared to him. So, like, if her men were dead, she would be dead.
Yeah, I mean, she could probably stand the pain.
Oh, yeah.
According to what we learn about here, again, in a little bit in the chapter, she could totally stand the hurt. But, like, everybody's got to breathe, so.
Yeah, you have to have a head.
Yeah.
So, the point of all of it is to prove how helpless he is, which I feel like a lot of this chapter, that's like the underlying thing. He can't do anything. He's fucked, like we said. This chapter could also alternatively be called Richard's fucked. But I don't think Google Podcast likes swear words in your titles.
Put an F-bomb right in the title. Well, we could use the stars.
He's hung by manacles from an iron peg, so he doesn't fall down anymore.
I'm sorry about the pause. I realized when I was reading this today for my second read through that these manacles are not suspending him above the ground. What they're doing is they're lifting the weight, so he has to be on his tiptoes.
Yeah, I mean, he could touch the ground, but he can't put weight on his feet.
Right. So he gets maybe a tiny little bit of leverage. If you stretch as far as you can stretch, he can relieve the pressure from his wrists just a little bit.
And then he has pain on his toe.
Well, yeah. Right. Eventually, you could break your toe, depending on how much weight is on your toe. Right.
Ew.
But then she hurts him. Jane did not like that at all. But then she hurts him again, and it forces him to drop back down on his wrists. So this would be like back and forth all the time. It would never stop. He would raise, then lower, then raise, then lower, and eventually he would just sag.
Well, I mean, yeah. Even if you don't try to raise yourself up, your entire weight is pulling down on iron manacles into your wrists. So,
which I'm sure have been thoroughly cleaned and sterilized.
Oh, super sanitary.
Yeah. And this is where Richard starts to fight back. And I mean, in a way, he starts to fight back by imagining his dignity. And he takes his Disney, he takes Disney,
Aww.
He puts it in a box, and it turns into a puppy with sparkles.
What?
Yeah.
I feel like we just went to a different place. And
We might have.
I like it, but it's not where we are.
No, he takes his dignity in his mind, and he imagines placing it in like an impervious room and just locking it away forever. You can't touch it, can't get to it. It's there. He would endure what happens, without his sense of dignity, of like, I'm not a person. I'm a body with arms and legs, and that's about it. And I'll endure. Like I was saying earlier, tomorrow for as long as you can, and if you could keep track of the days, which I highly doubt he'd be able to do, after day one, you'd be like, is it fucking Wednesday, Thursday? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Today is today. So he can't keep track, but like he will go on one day at a time.
Which I feel like is, I mean, it's a good way to handle it. I feel like a lot of people could maybe do this for like a little while, but with everything that ends up happening, I feel like it would be hard to keep part of yourself locked away.
Oh, right.
During all of that. Like this is the kind of shit that like causes like severe trauma for the rest of your life. So
yeah, I don't think you really fully recover from this.
Which is why, I mean, he's not thinking about like continuing his life super normally and great afterwards. He's like, I'm gonna die, but I will be myself when I die.
Right, when I die. Well, that's how Richard handles the situation. You know how I like to handle tough situations?
How's that?
That makes me sound awful.
How I handle all situations in my life.
It came out of my mouth. I was like, no, that's not good. Well, I do enjoy drinking beer.
Oh, hey, me too.
And tonight we have a bunch of you guys with us. So if you are drinking along with us, which I mean, I kind of hope you are, why don't you let us know what you have?
Nate's gonna grab us a new